Dolphin fans, what's going on? Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and the Miami Dolphins have trimmed their roster down to 53 players. So things, I'm just going to tell you right now, are going to change over the next 24 hours, and you're going to see this Miami team. A lot of the players that they did let go, some of them will more than likely come back on the practice squad, and you're going to see the Dolphins ultimately start signing players on Sunday. So make sure that you are subscribed to the fastest growing Dolphins channel on YouTube. I do want to give you all a shout out. Everyone here at Chat Sports has been very impressed by the Dolphin fans and by how much you guys are all supporting our videos. So continue to do that support and go ahead and subscribe. We did just cross 3,000 subscribers. Let's go to the quarterback position here, and it's looking thin. Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua. That is all that they're rocking and rolling with. And ultimately, I am pretty surprised. And last week I talked about the Dolphins potentially moving on from Josh Rosen and cutting him, because anytime you see a report that's like, well, some teams are interested, that also could mean that the team could potentially be moving on. I personally did not agree with the fact that they did cut Josh Rosen. I didn't think it made sense from a money standpoint, and even though Tua is 100% healthy, it does scare me in the realm of Ryan Fitzpatrick going down and then you throwing Tua out there on the football field. So let me know here in the comments section. Do you agree or do you disagree with the Miami Dolphins cutting Josh Rosen? If you agree, look at the screen, type A. If you disagree, type D. Running back time, Matt Breida, Jordan Howard, Myles Gaskin, they make the roster. Also, Patrick Laird, Malcolm Perry, and Chandler Cox. Malcolm Perry, you're going to see him here featured at the running back section. You're also going to see him featured as the wide receiver, because the quarterback from Navy, you're going to see this Dolphins team move him around the football field quite a bit. We're then going to jump to the tight end position, and there are no other tight ends on the roster. Remember, this Miami team traded for Adam Shahee from the Chicago Bears to really compete with Durham Smythe. Those are going to be the two dudes that are really going to be the blockers here on this football team, while Mike Gesicki, on the other hand, he's going to be thriving as a receiver. Really, if you guys like fantasy football, go out and draft Mike Gesicki as a late-round tight end option. So let's look at some cuts that happened. Josh Rosen, he got the boot. Ahmad, Kalen Ballage, Chris Myarick, and then Nate Whiting. These were some of the moves that the Dolphins made today and, well, on Friday as well. So we are trying to keep you up to date. You know what? This video is all around roster cuts for the Dolphins. So you know what? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. Who are you most upset about the Dolphins cutting? So for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, scroll on down while you're going to hit with that YouTube ad break and let me know who you're most upset about the Dolphins cutting. Wide receiver time. Devantae Parker, Preston Williams, Jakeem Grant, Isaiah Ford, Mack Hollins, Malcolm Perry, and oh wait, you see that name there down at the bottom? Lynn Bowden Jr. So today, right before cuts had to be finalized, the Miami Dolphins, they go out and trade for Raiders running back / wide receiver / joker, if you will, Lynn Bowden Jr. The Raiders drafted Lynn Bowden Jr. in the 3rd round, 80 overall, out of Kentucky, a player that added a lot of versatility and, in fact, was actually named college football's most versatile player last year. So here are the trade details. The Raiders, they get a 4th-round pick. The Dolphins, they get Lynn Bowden Jr. and a 2021 6th-round pick. Where did the Raiders get that 4th-round pick from? Remember this trade, the Raekwon McMillan deal that went on basically a week ago. So that's where those picks went. Now the newest member of the Miami Dolphins is running back / wide receiver Lynn Bowden Jr. So give me your one-word reaction to the news, because I'll be honest, surprised. Did not see this one coming. So what is your one-word reaction to the Dolphins trading for running back / wide receiver Lynn Bowden Jr.? Well, it's time now to show some cuts. Some of these wide receivers unfortunately didn't make it. Chester Rogers, Andy Jones, Ricardo Lewis. Rogers and Ricardo Lewis, they happened a little bit earlier on in the week. Gary Jennings, Matt Cole, Kirk. Kirk's one of these players where I'm a strong believer. Him and Matt Cole both are going to end up being on this Dolphins practice squad. Just, keep those guys in mind. The offensive line, we got to get into it, because this was one of the position groups that I was very, very interested to see how it shook out. Austin Jackson, I'm still a believer since they drafted him in round 1. He's going to end up being the starter. Ereck Flowers, Karras, Deiter, and Davis all going to have to really step up their game, because with the Miami Dolphins only keeping 2 quarterbacks, and I love Tua, I love Ryan Fitzpatrick, but there's both some injury history there, both of those dudes. So this offensive line really, really needs to step up. The defensive side of the football now, some cuts that ended up happening. You see Avery Moss, Brandon Bryant, Tyshawn Render, Benito Jones, and then Durval, Karras, and Nito. Those were some cuts that ended up happening on the defensive line of the football. But now let's look at the guys that ended up making it, right? Shaq Lawson, Raekwon Davis, Christian Wilkins, and then Kyle Van Noy. You're going to see this defense run a 4-3 front. You're also going to see them run a 3-4 front. It's going to be really fun and interesting. Personally, for me, I believe that this defense is set up a little bit more to run a 3-4, but ultimately, the Dolphins have some pretty young, talented players on the up front. As soon as cuts happen, you know what that means. It's time for some football, baby. So what I want you to do right now, let me know in the comments section how many games this team is going to win. So predict the Miami Dolphins 2020 record right now. And if you want to go to a Dolphins game, you're going to have to wear a face mask. If you want to rep your quarterback Tua, you can get his mask. The mask that you see on screen right now is actually available for $17.99. The way that you get this mask and all the masks that I'm showing right now is by going to the link that you see below, chatsports.com/Dolphins mask. If that link is too hard to remember, I got you all covered. I'm going to put it in the comments. I will also put it in the description. Another, I guess, bang for your buck, if you will, is this mask that you see on screen, 4 for $29.99. But again, that deal was for the 3 face masks, $17.99. Hurry up, the deal. It's not going to last forever. Linebacker time. So a lot of different moving pieces here. Obviously, with the trade of Raekwon McMillan, this Dolphins team is going to rely on some younger players. So you have Eguavoen, Gruger Hill, Jerome Baker. Really look for Jerome Baker to have to step up. But you're going to see Van Ginkel come in here and there, Roberts as well, and Munson, because this Dolphins linebacking team is a lot different than what it was a season ago. Let's look at some of the cuts that were made at the linebacking position. James Crawford, he is also considered a defensive end, if you will. Kylan Johnson, Trent Harris were some other moves that were made. So linebackers, well, now you know, hey, we got to go to the secondary. Here's what the Dolphins secondary is going to look like. Byron Jones, Xavier Howard. Really, really excited to see these two players work together. Noah Igbenogany, a cornerback that I loved when he first came out of Auburn. But then you're also looking at Needham, Perry, Fajidum, Jones, and then Frazier, all going to end up making this Dolphins 53-man roster. So here's some of the moves that they had to make, and the last one that kind of trickled in was Tay Hayes. I was ultimately a little bit surprised that they decided to move on from Hayes, but Brooks, Borders, Dedrick Nichols, some of those were made, a little bit while ago. I think like a week or two ago. Ken Webster, Jeremiah Dinson, Nate Holley, again, did not make the final cut. So if you're, I guess upset, what I want to know here is who are you most upset about the Dolphins keeping? My bad. Who are you most upset about the Dolphins keeping? Scroll on down and let me know. Earlier on in the video, I asked you who are you most upset about them cutting. Now I want to know who you're most upset about the Dolphins keeping. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button and drop us a like. We would definitely appreciate that.